It turns out Sony has lost a lot of money with the gamble that was Madam Web. So let's talk about the absolutely disastrous impact that this film had on Sony. While Sony and any company is never going to explicitly state just how bad something bombed, analysts, on the other hand, know how to calculate things and usually get pretty close. By the end of the year, especially fiscal years, we learn a lot more. This is how, at the end of every year, Deadline, Variety, whoever, has all sorts of articles talking about profits, margins, and all that. Well, Madam Web was supposed to be, and Sony hoped it would be, their big film to kick off 2024. Of course, this didn't happen. The film did not make a whole lot at box office. Yes, it had a smaller actual production budget, which we learned since ballooned a little bit, and a marketing budget that was somewhat hefty. So naturally, everybody's looking at, well, how did it do? Well, according to estimates and analysts, it's set to lose about $250 million for Sony this year. Now, that's an estimate that I've seen a few people throw out there, and from what I've seen talking to somebody who told me that this is genuinely disastrous for Sony, said it's somewhere in that ballpark. He doesn't know exactly, but that's what he's heard as well. So I'm convinced that, yeah, they're losing about $250 to $300 million on this film. Obviously, they are going to be able to have it as a write-off, assuming that Kraven doesn't bomb harder, which I don't see happening, but who really knows? So this just kind of shows you why they obviously rushed out to video on demand, why they didn't even, do a giant thing with a press release for it. It just appeared, right? And everybody was like, what? Hold up. I mean, it's a desperation tactic, and I get it. Sony is really struggling with films. Clearly, some of the video game stuff as well, as they've canceled so many projects, including, a Spider-Man project. So, it's going to be interesting to see what the messaging here is, but I think it's safe to say with this type of loss, you're never seeing these characters again.